stupid humans building all these big things just for us to smash them. They didn't see us coming. But then, neither did we. Maybe your steering weren't so good. And at least we got a good fight out of them. Even when the Tin Boys turned up, the boys was happy. Extra fighting! But whatever that thing in the sky is, it don't scare an orc. We's not trapped here. They's trapped with us! Whoa!
Hello, monsters abound here, and welcome to Warhammer 40,000 Gladius, which is basically of Civilization, and Warhammer 40,000 had a baby, and what a glorious baby it is. It's a turn-based strategy game in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. I'm playing as the Orcs because it's October. It's October, like it's October, but with Orcs. Good. Glad everyone's with me on this. Fantastic. So There's lots of different races. You got Space Marines, Imperial Guard, or the Adeptus Administratum, Chaos Space Marines, Necrons, Tyranids. Forgotten anyone? Chaos Space Marines? Did I say that? Well, either way. Anyway, normal Space Marines. That doesn't matter. Anyway, point is, thank you very much to Slytherin for giving me keys for the DLC. This is for the new DLC Fortifications, which adds new units for all of the races. And basically it makes everyone a little bit more tanky, which is fun. So, much like Civilization, you set up cities, and this planet is called Gladius, I guess. And I mean, you know, you call something Gladius, you're bound to have a war start on it, really, aren't you? It's kind of like Armageddon. I mean, who decided to settle a planet and go, you know what, we should call this place Armageddon? It's probably going to be fine. Mind you, I imagine there's probably a planet called Serenity where they've been fighting a trench war for about 3,000 years in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. That's just tends to be what happens. So I guess that's fine. So we're going to set up a city. I don't know. Should we set up here? It's saying set up over here. It's telling me. Should I do that? Does that look good? Well, let's start off by selecting one of our boys, and we'll go and grab this thing, which is a Ruins of War. So you get like a little compendium here which tells you everything about it. So it's unclear what this is. Some sort of time-worn structure rearing up from the shattered surface, made up of some impenetrable material as the rare artifacts that dot the planet. Much can be learned merely from studying it, and perhaps it still houses some secrets itself. So basically it's going to give us some research, and I think I'm right in saying that if your city is, if it's next to your city, if it's part of your city, then basically you can you get extra research. We found some wireweed over here. So this looks like sort of like grasslands. There's some Arctic over there as well. So wireweed, woebotide. Anyone who wanders into these thickets of brambles, slowly at first but faster and faster, these living weeds draw its razor-sharp filaments tighter around the hapless intruder. So basically, if you end your turn in that's going to do damage to you. So you don't really want to do that unless you have to. Now, our mechs here, they are the ones that can build cities. So what we're going to do is probably... I think I like this. So let's go and do that. I don't think they can reach it this turn. Oh, no, they can. So we've built the Empire of the Orcs. Good stuff. It's not a big empire yet, but it'll get bigger. That's fine. Now, currently, we only start off with 3 little Orc units, little boys. And little boys, they are just Orc boys. And they're pretty good in melee combat, basically. They are... I guess they're fairly cheap. You get some bonuses, like they get extra influence from beating people up, which is good. They also get AWP for killing enemy units. They get increased healing rate, rapid so basically when an Orc unit dies, it leaves orcoid fungus on the ground, which you can then use to heal your other units, which is quite fun. So they get Furious Charge, so increased melee damage, increased circumstance melee damage. So yeah, so basically they're slightly better in melee than they are. The other races, might be slightly different. Like for example, the Space Marines, pretty good at shooting. Mind you, they are pretty good at melee as well because, you know, they're superhumans, but still. So your cities, you can start off by clearing or building, but to start off with, what you want to do is acquire tiles. Now, boys have upkeep. All these units have upkeep. And these guys, if we can you see the upkeep here? No, basically they use food. So if we want to keep producing boys, then we need some food. And for each of these tiles, you can see you've got this little icon here, and that shows how many buildings you can build on the tile. So you can see we've got 0 here, but you get 2 research anyway. And I think what this means is because our city is adjacent, we get a 20% increased research rate to the entire city. So any research buildings we build here, we'll get extra research, which is quite nice. So what we're going to do is I'm going to pop... So some good food there, also good minerals and good research. But ideally we want somewhere to build a recruitment build. I'm going to grab this tile first, I think. And then we've got research. The research tree is quite long, actually. I mean, this game does kind of, when you first start up, it does kind of feel like a Civilization mod. A very good one, but still a Civilization mod. But as I found, as you continue, it does kind of really... It's really enjoyable. The only thing I'd say about it is that it's quite a slow sort of start, basically. So it takes a few turns to kind of get to the position where you are kind of being able to build those advanced units, where you're meeting the enemy factions and fighting them. There's a lot of sort of wandering enemies to deal with to start off with, which is, you know, it's good, that's fun. And in fact, sometimes they can be a bit much. I did run into a previous game 2 Castian robots and several ambugs, whatever the hell they are, those big bug things. And basically they kicked the shit out of me, which wasn't very fun. But there we go. So we're going to start off by getting... I do like the cult of speed. The commando camp's nice, but cult of speed, I think we're going to do that. So let's grab the cult of speed first, because of course red ones go faster. That's why we're red. That's right. We're evil sons, or the cult speed. And there are some wandering enemies, some neophyte hybrids, gene stealers by the looks of it. And we got our quest. So Zogging Gork that hurt. You're digging yourself in the wreckage of your boss tower and see a few boys around you doing the same, but very few injured and demoralised. An old Doc, Bones, stomps his way through the rubble towards you. Most of the boys is dead, boss. That Zogging Storm got him. Plenty of spare bits, though. He hefts a detached orc arm in his hand thoughtfully. Anyhow, as the only Doc still standing, I reckon your boys could do with some R&R. I prescribe physical exercise, should fix them up nicely. He grins a mouthful of steel teeth at you. Right, you bellow at your boys. Who wants a fight? Ragged cheers greet you from across the camp. Getting your Waaagh going again means getting into fights, and lots of them. Thankfully, that's what orcs do best. So we need to accumulate some influence, which obviously we get more influence by kicking the shit out of people because we're orcs. Right, so we've got some chaos cultists over here as well. And so these guys are a little bit shooty. So can we learn more about them? Yes. So we get ranged infantry unit specialises in ambushes. Each cultist is spry and tougher build, weathered over a lifetime of hard labour. Their physical strength and reaction is bolstered by the alien genes lurking within. Neophyte hybrids do not bear the outward hallmarks of the patriarch's sacred touch, as their brood leaders tell them their blessings are of the soul, more of the body. These 3rd and 4th generation hybrids can pass for humans. Some are even cunning enough to infiltrate the Astra Stratum. When the cult goes on the attack, these neophytes show their true colours, surging from sewers, catacombs and shadowy barracks. They swarm the enemies in such numbers they can seize control of a planet's defences within the first hours of conquest. And they get some bonuses. They've got Cult Ambush, so increases the accuracy of Overwatch attacks, and extra armour. And they also got some bonuses there. So all units have Overwatch, so basically any unit approaching them gets fired on. And you also get Return to Shadows, which increases the range damage reduction. As you can see, there's lots of different types of potential neutral units. There's the Ambles that I ran into earlier. The Castian robots, they're really mean. I mean, they've got fucking flamethrowers and twin-linked phosphor blood. Oof. Just harsh. So, I kind of think we want to keep our boys together, because if we're together, then we can deal with enemy units rather than getting picked off one by one. And there's some Chaos Cultists there. We found an ore field. Now, ore fields, so we can find these special buildings, just like the ruins of Vol over there, and these will give us give us resources, basically, if we control them. We can control them by basically moving a unit onto them. It changes the border from grey to our colour, and then we start getting resources from that. Obviously, if an enemy unit goes and takes it, then they take it and they get the resources instead of us. The independent units are... Depends on their behaviour. There's like some Kachetan devils hanging around, and they can be quite nasty if you get near the nest. But generally, they'll leave you alone. So we kind of captured that, so we're going to get a little bit more ore, which is going to be useful. And I think we've we've got that tile, excellent. So what I want to do is I want to construct a pile o' Daka. So building that produces infantry walkers as well as generating influence. What's better than a gun, asks an orc? A bigger gun, answers another. Shortly before the fight starts, they agree that even bigger, better than the biggest gun, is a big pile of big guns. That's exactly what we have here. Mech-made guns of all shapes and sizes, loosely stacked, ready for a boy or killer can to grab when the fighting starts. So we do that. So that's going to build a building. It's 6 turns. I mean, it's quite a while to get your first like recruitment building, isn't it? So I say, start is fairly slow. So I think what we'll do is I won't make you watch like the constant, but we'll just the constant sort of episode, because I feel like a lot of it's going to be a little bit boring. We'll just sort of dip in and out as interesting things happen. Oh, Overwatch. Who was that? Oh, there's a new fight. Okay, right. So now we can attack them. Yeah, that's the stuff. I think we should be okay there, so we should be able to deal with them. They might actually run away rather than decide to fight us. Let's come back over here to lend some assistance. So they're going to open fire. We're fine. So we've got the Cult of Speed. It says of. I guess that's probably correctly spelled for an orc. They still love war and loud explosions. The orcs, known as speed freaks, love velocity even more. They will extensively and obsessively customize their bikes and aircraft, removing all the safety features to the point where they're sitting on a giant engine painted crimson because red ones go faster. So you can produce war buggies, and with research we can get battle wagons, death copters, a Daka jet, and a burner bomber. Oh, sounds good. Okay, we've got some bad uns coming this way. Can we open fire on them? I think they're a bit far away. But we should be able to open fire on them hopefully next turn. And cities are pretty defensive. You do need quite a lot of units to take a city, which means that you don't have to sit around defending your city. It can defend itself. So let's take out those goons. All of our units get a little bit of experience, so they're now level 1, which gives them a little bit more, basically melee attack, I think. Units hit points and damage by 5% as well as morale. And we also get Waaagh. So basically, as we get extra influence, I believe, basically our units get stronger and also get more sort of defensive. So as we're gaining influence, we're basically doing more stuff, which is pretty good. Let's get more Daka, because we're going to get that pile of Daka fairly soon, and then we can start recruiting some more orcs. Yeah, they're scarpering. They don't want to face a city. Understandable. And we want... Right, so we're currently sitting on some orcoid fungus. Now, we will get extra healing for actually being there. Let's get this Jokero trade encampment where you can actually buy things for your heroes. And we're going to put these guys over here just to heal up. That seems like that will work fine. So basically we just want to spend this sort of early game just exploring around, trying to find the enemy factions, and we haven't even started exploring up to the north here. Basically we've got we kind of ended up quite near to the side of the map. Oh, there's another thing over there. What is that? Need to go and find what that is. Basically, the sooner we can get more boys, pump out more boys, the better. So we come across some Kroot hounds, and these guys are quite nasty in forests, but not too bad to deal with in the open. They are very, very fast though, but they're quite weak. But a unit, I've had units sort of wandering through forests get jumped by multiple stacks of Kroot and Kroot hounds, and basically that doesn't end well generally. Holy crap, we've been jumped by a whole bunch of Chaos cultists who might lose a unit of... Oh no, my boys. My boys. And they've left some orcoid fungus below. Yeah, it's very, very easy to get overwhelmed. I think what we're going to do is we're going to back off out of here because that doesn't feel very good. There is a shard of wool here, though, so we can grab that. So that's going to be quite useful because that's going to give us some energy and some ore. And there's another one down there, but I think what we need to do now is, yeah, we've completed our building, so we can just queue up some boys, get some boys going. That sounds pretty good. If we have a look at what resources are coming in at the moment, so getting more food would be a good shout. Now there is, I mean, there's 20% there, there's 30% here, but there's also good bonuses to like minerals, and we can only get 2 buildings there. So I think what we're going to do is maybe put a food building here. Okay, let's grab that tile. And what we'll do, we'll start churning out boys. We've got more research. We could get the stick bomb. That gives our boys grenades that they can use every so often, which is quite nice. The commando camp lets us recruit heroes, which again is quite useful. The fungal forest is nice for healing, but situational at best. But we get access to tier 2 now, so we can get increased production for cold speed, which sounds pretty good. Grot huts increase the population limit. Now, cities, each building you have requires a population to basically use. Now, orcs have increased population growth, which means basically you never really have to worry about it. But cities do have a maximum level of population, so at some point we're going to need those grot huts, but at the moment we don't really need them because we've got plenty of population. We don't need, we're not running out of population. Awkward fungus food, we don't really have that. Tank busters would be quite nice, but you're generally not going to run into very many heavily armoured targets early on. So they're not that useful early on, but later on they do come into their own because your boys are not going to do very well against things like the Castlian robots. Those things you need some armor piercing, and that's what tank busters are for. But I think we're going to get the commando camp because I just feel like heroes could be really nice to have. And we're going to lose that Jericho outpost, but frankly, I think we don't want to get overwhelmed by cultists. That would be bad times. So we've got the completed the first objective, got the influence we need. We haven't really actually killed many people, we're just getting influence over time anyway. So we get some more food, which is quite useful. Now the boys are back in action. We need to feed them and recruit more. Better fungus solve both problems. Better fungus, okay, good. So we need to construct orkoid fungus. And reward, we will get some boys, which is, you know, fine. I think, are we constructing orkoid fungus? That's that one. Yeah, it's that one. Does that use an entire tile? That's my only question. It increases food by 20%, so we could build it there, but that would be a waste. Okay, we'll worry about that later. We've started to get we've got some more units of boys now, more units now coming out. We can see that if we go that way, 2 turns and we'll get some more boys. And we're just exploring the forest and seeing what we can find. So there's another shard of wool there. Oh, there's some, oh, hello. Looks like someone's taken this, what is that? Fermentation pool. Okay, let's go and beat up these boys. Deal with them. That looks like Space Marines to me. It looks like Space Marines have taken that, so there must be a Space Marine faction somewhere nearby that we're going to have to deal with. Space Marines! Okay, well there's some Space Marines. Found the Space Marines. We're going to heal you up. Might need to pull back from that. How tough are they? They're lots of armour. Because our boys have 2. They've got 9. 9 armour. Wow, that's a lot of armour. That's... So they can... Armor penetration 1, attacks 1, damage 1.6. What's our guns do? 1.8, 1.3. Yeah, it's going to be tough to deal with. Oh, they've also got frag grenades. Lovely. So we're going to need to let's get tank busters maybe. Let's get tank busters. I think we might use hello Now these are fun to fight. Big beaky Umis who know how to punch and shoot. It's almost as good as orcs. Even if they do hide behind all that shiny armour, it's a pity they aren't that many of them. Yeah, well, you know. Right, get 'em, boys. Okay, you know, that did stuff. I'm gonna get them, lads. Might need more orcs. Let's maybe try and flank around them as well. They've kind of got a little position up here on the, like on a little hill. On a little hill. Now, one of the... That would be frag grenades. One of the benefits we do have is that we have an ability called Here We Go, which basically makes us move a little bit faster. But what we're going to do, I think, is we're going to get... These guys are going to leg it, because there's no point sacrificing them for no good reason. And then we're going to go and hit these Space Marines. Get them, boys. That's the stuff. If we use... Oh no, I meant to use Here We Go. Never mind. We'll get them next turn. We'll get them next turn. And are we still recruiting orcs? Yes, more orcs I think would be optimal. Our food is generally fine. We've got some... let's take out the Chaos Cultists. So they get a little Overwatch shot there, but I think that's going to be fine. Ooh, 4.6, that's nasty. We did 9.8 damage to them, so I think that was a fair exchange. Although that's a lot more Chaos Cultists than orcs, so we might just back off from that. Yeah, we're gonna not retreat. We're gonna charge in the other direction, just for a change. I think those Space Marines have buggered off. I don't know where they are though. There they are. Okay, let's push them. You want to heal up. Need to be a little bit cautious. We don't know where the base is yet. Space Marines only get one city. Basically, you can build other cities for any other faction, but with Space Marines, you only get the one, and they do get like outposts that they can use to. Oh, damn it, we lost our Shard of Vol. But they can build outposts to get. This is a artifact. So if we take that, we get more loyalty and more requisition. Increases loyalty of your cities. Now, if we lose it, and you can't move them, so that's just sat there for the moment. I think those Space Marines have given us a slip. Sneaky, beaky Umis. Never mind, they'll get theirs. Who wants an order? You do. You're going to heal. Because there's lots of Chaos Cultists around, which we need to kill. And our city is coming along. Look at that. And they look good. I like the way you kind of get the little areas so you can pick up the other tiles. That's, I like that a lot. So I've kind of turned this into our production tile. So we've got the Pile of Daka and the Cold Speed there. And down here we've got the Squig. So that's bring us food. I'm also building some ore there as well. We can get, we can build a war buggy. A war buggy is a ranged unit. Nice ranged unit which will allow us to shoot people from afar. So let's go and grab that. We're going to heal up there. You're going to heal up there. Yeah, so hold position until you're healed. You are fine, so you're going to move up and just give us a little bit of support. So this is kind of end up with this sort of like Frontline, and it kind of reminds me of, if you ever played that old Games Workshop tile game, Armageddon, where you had like the big map of Armageddon, and you had all the little cards that denoted like different units. It kind of feels very similar to that, and I fucking loved that game. Oh, that game was so good. I thoroughly enjoyed. Oh, hello. He looks like a Space Marine hero. We've got Tank Busters. Tank Busters are orcs who have become completely addicted to the thrill of destroying the armoured fighting vehicles of their foes. Their desire to hunt down and slay the biggest, most dangerous tanks they can find echoes the primal instincts of the big game hunter. So these guys basically have armour-piercing weapons. So you can see armour penetration 4. And they also have range, so they are ranged attackers and can be quite useful against heavily armoured units, especially like Space Marines. Now, these enemy heroes, they can be quite nasty. They're not invincible, but they can be tough to take down. So we're not going to push in that direction just yet, because we can see the captain. Amid the fire and thunder of the front line, Space Marine captains set a peerless example to their brothers. They carve down one enemy after another. Each captain is a skilled warrior, a veteran of hundreds of battles who has slain whole armies of foes during his celebrated career. And they get special abilities, they get some more tech, so they can use things like frag grenades and all that kind of good stuff. And also, they of course are quite dangerous just themselves, so we're going to be a little bit careful around him just to be on the safe side. We could go for him, but I think we're just going to hold off. Let's get grot huts now. I think we're kind of at the stage where we kind of need it, because we're at 6 of 7 population. We only need 4 though, so we don't need the grot huts like right away, but it would be useful. What the hell? Oh, you're just taking the tile. Okay, fair enough. I think we just go for it. Oh, hello, what's that? Ow! Mother... What the... It's a Fortress of Redemption. It's the worst kind of fortress. Hello. Right, get him. Ow, 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 ow. Wow, that was a really bad place to sit. Get him, lads. Let everyone stop shooting at you. Okay, that wasn't great. Yeah, we're not doing... Yeah, he's right. Okay, well, with that in mind, I think we might wait for some tank busters, because he's just not dying, is he? He's just sitting there and taking that. And so this is the Fortress of Redemption. What the hell does this do? Twin-linked las cannon. Armor penetration of 6, damage 8. Ow. So I think this is the building that can use to harvest resources around it. So that helps the Space Marines, who are very much a one city faction, have more than, you know, being able to actually expand rather than just sitting around not doing anything. Oh, hello. Is it the Beakies again? Nah, it's the other ones, the ones with big teeth. They's always good for a fight. Gork's going to smack that corn up proper good. Yeah. Right, so Space Marines and also Chaos as well. Good. You know, that's just adding a little bit more to the mix, isn't it? That's fun. Ooh, we're taking a lot of fire. And there's some Chaos Cultists there. That's not good. I think what we need to do is pull back. Oh, and there's some Chaos Space Marines as well. Lovely. Okay, what we're going to do is run. Oh no, that's enslavers. They can take over our units, and we're not going to be able to kill. Right, get them. Okay, this very quickly got wildly out of hand. Okay, well we've killed a lot of them. They're still going to be able to take over one of our units, unless they've used their ability beforehand, but I think they haven't. So that's fine. Buggies and tank busters coming along. Excellent. There's some neophytes over there. We won't worry too much about that. We might just have to pull back. I think you guys are just going to hold position for the moment. And our city, right, we've got some good ore coming in. Energy though, we don't have any energy. Energy is dropping very, very rapidly, and we don't really have a good place to get some. So somewhere like there. Yeah, you've taken over that unit. Well, I mean, of the units to take over, at least it was the one that was about to die anyway. So, I mean, I'm kind of okay with that. What's going on? Hello. Right. I think... Right, you kill them. Good job. Right, pull back. It's not running away. It's just moving in the opposite direction. Right, we've got some more buggies. Yes. Right, let's get them to the front. I think we can say we haven't, like... Oh, that doesn't look good. That looks like Tyranids to our south as well. Okay. We must save humanity from itself. Well, I mean... Yeah, no, I'm kind of on board with that at the moment, actually. Okay, so we've got... We're acquiring tiles. That's going to take one turn. Let's build another buggy. Energy's dropping. These things... Upkeep is ore and influence. We've got good amounts of both. They take influence and food, which we're fine with. So we're just going to keep pumping out units. Oh good, assault marines. Lovely. Okay, let's again pull back. Get our buggies to help out. They are still doing stuff, which is fine. Assault Space Marines. A howl of jump pack turbines heralds a meteoric descent of the Assault Marines. Plunging from the sky with bolt pistols blazing, they slam into their foes like hurricanes of destruction. Screaming victims are thrown to the ground, bodies crushed beneath the Cermite boots, chests ripped open by snarling chainswords. Within moments the killing is done, and the Assault Marines bound onwards, leaving behind them a ragged wound torn in the enemy's battle lines. Well, that sounds lovely. That sounds fine. Yeah, no, that's grand. Right, we need energy, so let's build a power Gubbinz over there. That's going to give us energy and hopefully not put us in a deficit. We get a little Overwatch shot there, which is going to do burger all damage to him. And then the buggies get a shot as well. It's actually managed to do some damage. 2.4. Look at that. They just chuck grenades at me. You arseholes. You took my thing. So we've got the Grotz huts. Curiously, the Grotz huts are better than those of the boys. Sure, from the outside they look even more ramshackled and run down, while their inside is still built from the garbage festooned with mushrooms, squigs and stotlings. There's a certain pride and personalisation in the squalor that the boys' shacks lack. Right, let's get them. Get them, lads. I think the Space Marines are always like few in number. So, although it takes a lot of our boys to take down one of theirs, we can keep pouring units out. They struggle. Yes, there we go. Good stuff. Okay, so far so good. We've taken out some Space Marines, and we got some. Oh, we got some tank busters. Look at that. Look at that. Excellent. And we're still holding down here. I'm kind of half tempted to try and go and retake this over, but I'm tempted to get another city. But each city you get basically reduces your loyalty. So you get, I think it's -6 from each city, and your loyalty at 0%, at 0 loyalty, basically your buildings take your construction and unit recruitment takes the same amount of time. For each loyalty you lose, it takes more time to then construct things. It actually tells it in the... There you go. So resource output by 1%, while each negative point decreases by 2%, down to 50%. Each city after the first decreases loyalty in all cities by 6, which is way better than what I just rambled on about. But basically, you don't want to just keep spamming cities. Although I guess if you did spam cities, then even if each city is only producing at half the speed, you're still producing, shit tons more, I guess. Citation needed. So, what we got doing here? Yeah, we need more tank busters, I think, because these Space Marines, they're just really hard to kill. Do I want some killer cans? I mean, the answer to that is almost certainly yes, I do. Give me a killer can. Because I love those killer cans. I love the Gargants. I've always loved the Orks in Epic. Epic was one of my... It was basically the first thing I ever started collecting. And I had a particular joy for collecting Gargants, just because I love the ramshackled nature of them. It's just really, really nice. Let's get these bargain. We're going to start pushing a little bit because we've got some units in support now, and I think Chaos and the Space Marines are beating each other up. So do we want to hit the Space Marines? I mean, Space Marines will have one city, so maybe we hit them first. But equally, I'm a little bit concerned about the south, but we do have some sort of units guarding this little causeway, which is the way to our city. And of course, the cities are quite tanky themselves. I mean, you really do need to pound them with everything you've got to take them down. Oh look, more Space Marines. They've been protected by this wire weed. If we end our turn in there, it will do a lot of damage to us. We definitely don't want to do that. So let's pull back, and hopefully they'll come to us. Ideally, maybe we can try flanking. Go around here, because that's going to give us some extra defense. We can go around there. That's going to give us a little extra defense. Let's go here, and we'll stay there. Basically, we're going to try and surround them. And once we've got them surrounded, we can then start hitting them with our tank busters and stuff like that. So energy's looking pretty good. Oil's looking pretty good. Food, I could do with a little bit more. I'm tempted actually to start researching the mech building. Get that, and then maybe build another city. That is a potential. I mean, normally I have a lot more resources by this point, but it's, you know, we started off quite close to our opponents with Space Marines and the Chaos over there, and also it looks like Tyranids to our south. I've not faced a Tyranids yet, so that's going to be exciting. Oh, so this is Gladius. I'm thinking about maybe actually doing a little series of this. I mean, this is just, you know, I'm playing this just on normal difficulty. This is not particularly difficult, but I've only been playing this for a few days. I've only had it for a few days. Just been thoroughly enjoying my time with it. I say it's a little bit on the slow side, but once it gets going, it really does feel. It feels really kind of satisfying. When you manage to, you push the front line, you make a hole in the line and manage to break through, and that feels pretty good. But it does have this sort of like where you're just trying to, all these units kind of like pouring from your cities. You're trying to get them to the front. It's taking quite a while. It's one of those quite slow games, but it really is. It's quite fun. And if you like Warhammer 40,000, I mean, I would say it's probably one of the best turn-based Warhammer 40,000 games I've played in a good long while. So I'm thinking about maybe doing a little series of this, but let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.